How do we define a global crisis? You are probably thinking that I'm going to tell you what I know or what I think the definition of a global crisis is. Well, that is incorrect. By the end of this video, you may have more questions than answers, but you will hopefully have much food for thought, and you may see things differently from a few minutes ago. If I had to ask you to name a global crisis, the crisis at the forefront of our minds is the coronavirus, also referred to as COVID-19. This virus has been referred to as a pandemic, which, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, is a disease that spreads over a whole country or the whole world. Yes, this is a global crisis, and for more reasons than we can imagine. The devastation goes far beyond the direct impact of catching this fast-spreading virus. People are losing their jobs. Hunger leading to starvation is a real possibility for many. Domestic violence is flourishing in these lockdown conditions. This could often be due to stress and pressure to provide for dependents. Being unable to feed certain habits and addictions, such as cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs, is sadly resulting in deep frustration and anger. As a result of these factors, crime and ultimately the murder rate could increase. Another consequence of the coronavirus and isolation is the fact that people's mental health is deteriorating. So many people are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and generally unhappy with their circumstances. They are unable to leave their households, see their therapists, or even their friends who bring them joy during their times of sadness. They are also unable to go to their place of worship, which is often a place of stress relief and hope. Depression is a real thing, and not being able to do much about it could increase suicidal thoughts and even the successful attempt of it. We may think that these consequences are largely as a result of the virus, and they are definitely heightened by it. But we have been living with these global crises for years, but have been desensitized to them. Why? Because for many of us, we are not affected by them. The single greatest cause of death in the world today is that of abortion. Over 20 million so far this year. Not only do innocent people die, but an innocent and defenseless human being dies in the most inhumane way possible. Dependent on their age, if left to live too long in the womb, can meet his or her death when coming into contact with the tip of a suction device. Yes, there is something in common with the coronavirus. This procedure is sanitized and added to the list of human rights and healthcare. Where, however, is the protective mask protecting this child from his or her death? Starvation is an ongoing global crisis, with nearly 3 million people having died this year so far, and on average 9 million people die each year. These are the most vulnerable among us, but they are often poor, uneducated, and by global and secular standards have not much to offer. They are seen to be dispensable. According to the World Health Organization, hunger is the single most serious threat to the world's public health. Yet every year, tons of food are discarded in order to keep economies buoyant and prices consistent. The list goes on. There have been more deaths from cancer, smoking, HIV/AIDS, car accidents, suicide, malaria, drinking unclean water, and flu than from the coronavirus. Not to undermine the seriousness of this virus, neither to take away from the need to be responsible, but we live with global crises every day, many that are far more dire. In addition to these facts, is a person's God-given free will to discern the possible source of these social evils. And there have been many links made over the last while to man's turning away from God and his church. This, in my opinion, is the greatest global crisis of all. Let us then be mindful of these and pick up our masks to do what we can in our own small or big way to protect as many as we can from the ravaging consequences of these often overlooked evils. Since I began this video, approximately 25 children have died from hunger. Hunger is preventable. We need to put things into perspective.